is going on, everybody? It is your boy Arrows here, and we have a Lorcana video. It's back. It's back because this past weekend we had the first DLC of the Lorcana Championship season. We are, of course, talking about a DLC Bologna. I probably mispronounced that horribly. I greatly apologize. And we had a very interesting, not interesting. I'm going to say a very unsurprising top eight. We had what you expected to see: Amethyst Steel Evasives, Amber Steel Aggro, Amber Emerald, which was really cool because that's the deck that I really enjoy, that I am a huge enjoyer of, is Amber Emerald, and it is what I am playing for my upcoming set championships. And we had a steel. We had a Steel Emerald aggro coming in third place. We're going to talk about these deck lists, go over them. I think the most interesting thing is that, not interesting, unsurprising thing is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 of the top 8 deck lists were running the new Dumbo Ninth Wonder of the Universe. Pretty much at this point, if you are running Amethyst in your deck, you are running this card. So let's just have a look at some of these deck lists. So this is the first place deck list. It was by Lucas Marcelin. I probably mispronounced that as well. I apologize. We have Basil, 3 copies of Basil Practice Detective. This is just a really good card to help you clear out threats if you need to. It is a 2/1 1-drop that has support. So when it quests, you'll be able to give its attack power to another character on the field. This is really good for helping our Elsa the Fifth Spirits or genies get over other evasive targets. And it's also just really good. It comes up very well with our Rafiki as well, letting us do some board removal through challenges. Speaking of Rafiki, they were running 3 copies of the Mystical Fighter. 1-drop, the Inkable 02 has Challenger 3, so it gets +3 when it's attacking, when it's challenging a character, and then it takes no damage from a Hyena character. Doubt that ever comes up in play. You have your package of 4 copies of Sail the Azurite Sea and 4 copies of Tipo Growing Sun, because you want to sprint ahead on your lore, because that enables you to be able to drop some of your big cards a lot earlier than your opponent might be expecting them, such as your Hades Infernal Schemer, your Elsa Spirit of Winter. Really good. I really liked this, the addition of Ursula Voice Stealer. I'm very happy that the card is starting to see some play in Amethyst decks, because it is a really good card. Being able to exert one of your opponent's characters to sing one of our 7 songs, like, just really, really good. Being able to exert your opponent's 2-cost character or to sing 1 jump, or being able to exert a 4-cost or lower to sing Into the Unknown to get rid of threats is just a really, really, really good combination of plays. Getting back into the deck list, we have, of course, I said, our 4 Tipos. The breakout star of the Fabled set, in my opinion, Dumbo, the Ninth Wonder of the Universe, has evasive, has the ability breaking records. You can pay 1 and tap Dumbo to draw a card and gain a lore, and then making history, your other characters with evasive gain the same ability. This is a really good game ender. If you're closing in on lore and you have a couple of evasives out, you can play this Dumbo and you can tap those evasives to gain lore and draw cards. Genie, Wish Fulfilled, just a great card. There's not really much else to say about Genie. Running 4 ofs because card draw is really good. Evasive is super strong in this format, and being able to quest for 2 is always really good. And keep in mind that depending on how you're going with this, you can be dropping this on your turn 3, which is really cool. Iago, same thing, Giant Spectral Parrot. This is just a really good, this also helps clear boards really well, as it is a 4/6 with evasive. It does have the vanish ability, so if it's targeted by an action on one of your opponent's actions, it will go away. But honestly, it's a fair trade-off for a 4/6 that can clear out troublesome evasives like opposing Dumbos, or that's really the only. Trades in really well to your opponent's genies in the mirror match. Just a really, really good card. 2 Madam Mim Elephant. I love that this card is seeing play. I think it is, there's not a ton of bounce, but I think this is a very good bounce option. When you play this character, banish her or return another chosen character of yours to your hand. At the start of your turn, you may move up to 2 damage counters from this character to chosen opposing character, so you can rush her into something. If she lives till your next turn, you can move that damage off her onto something else. Really good for getting around cards with resist. We're looking at you, Nala. Being really good at getting around cards with resist, Lucas was running 4 copies of Bell, Accomplished Mystic. When you play this character and move up to 3 damage counters from chosen character to chosen opposing character, this is again another really good way of getting around cards that have resist. Like we're looking at Calhoun, we're talking about Nala. When Nala has no damage counters on her, she has resist 1. If she quests for an additional 1, just get those off the field pretty easily. Elsa, the 5th Spirit. When she comes into play, she exerts, she has rush, she has evasive. With the various power cards, power increasers in this deck, like Basil and Hypnotic Strength, you are definitely taking out your opponent's threats when you play her. Just a really good card. Ursula Voice Stealer, we already talked about. TikTok, Ever Present Pursuer, a 6-drop, 4/7 with evasive. Just a really good card. Really good outs to a lot of things. For Hades, Infernal Schemer. Always nice seeing Hades be heavily played. Hades is just a really good card. It's a 7-cost, uninkable. Quest for 2, 3/6. When you play this character, you can place chosen opposing character into that player's inkwell face down. You can take one of your characters. No, you can't. Ignore that. I'm thinking of another card. So yeah, just being able to get threats off the board. Yes, they go into your opponent's ink, but depending on the card, they are off the field, which is going to make a difference. I've come to learn that, 1 extra ink here and there isn't a world of difference if your opponent is unable to ramp. So 1 Elsa, Spirit of Winter. Prevent 2 characters from exerting on your opponent's from untapping on your opponent's next turn. Really good card. If you want to, you could shift onto the 5th Spirit. I don't know why you would. You have enough mana ramp, you could easily drop her for the 8, but that it is nice to have that shifting option. 2 Monstro, Infamous Whale. I was really happy to see this card still be heavily played in this deck. This card can clear boards if you have the cards in your hand, which Amethyst is one of the only colors that you can still draw a decent amount of cards outside of your draw phase. So Monstro is still really good. It has rush. It's a 6/8. You can choose and discard a card. Ready this character. He can't quest for the rest of the turn. Oh no, he can literally clear out boards really easily on his own. Into the actions, we have 3 copies of Hypnotic Strength. This card is really good. You get to draw a card. Again, like I said, Amethyst is one of the only colors that has retained really good card draw. Chosen character gains Challenger 2 this turn. They get +2 when challenging. For 2 is really good. 1 copy of Magical Maneuvers. Return a chosen character of yours to your hand. Exert chosen character. This is really good. We have a lot of things that our opponent could play stuff that we want to get rid of right away before they can do anything with. Being able to do this gets them off the field really quickly. Sail the Azure Sea, we talked about. Finders Keepers. For 5, draw 3 cards. Again, you're ramping so much here with your 4 T-Pos, your 4 Sail the Azure Seas, and your 1 jump ahead. This is completely fine. 1 jump, I think one of in this deck is perfect. Being able to have that potential early ramp, or being just discarding if it's a dead card with T-Po or Sail. No, you can't do it with Sail because it doesn't have an ink cost. Being able to just get rid of it with T-Po later on in the game is just also really good too if you don't want to blind ink. 4 Into the Unknown. This pairs up so well with Ursula. Really good card. 1 dig a little deeper. Put 2 cards in your hand. Again, this color combination has a ton of ways to get extra cards into your hand. And then 1 second star to the right. Sing together 10. Any number of your teammates' characters can, with a total of 10 or more, can help sing this. Draw 5 cards. Like, that's super easy. This is definitely the standard way of playing this deck. This is perfect. The perfect set of, I'm going to assume 60 cards. Yeah, perfect set of 60 cards. fantastic. 12 uninkables, completely fine in this. 80% of the deck is inkable, which is really, really strong. Looking at the second place deck, Amethyst Steel. This actually makes me a little sad because I do not want to spend the money on Dumbos to fix up my Amethyst Steel, but it is what it is. Pretty much very similar things, only definitely a lot more challenging options in this build with Calhoun, which is just really good. We have our 4 copies of Captain Hook. Challenger gets Challenger 2 on a 1-drop for a 1/2. 3 copies of Diablo Raven. One of this character is banished, draw a card. 3 happy, evasive, giving this turn evasive on a 2/1 on your turn 1 is really good. 3 copies of Calhoun. Calhoun is just really strong in this format right now. There is a ton of decks that are playing with a bunch of low cost cards that maybe won't survive Calhoun. Calhoun is a really good out to Nala. You are going to KO that Nala still, even with his resist 1. You're not going to take any damage back, and you're going to get 2 lore. Really good out to Nala. Doc is just good card draw. And like I said, outside of Amethyst, not a lot of colors have amazing card draw. So being able to play Doc if you're playing Steel is really good. 1 Jafar Royal Vizier, another card that this is the one that gives has evasive. This is a pseudo evasive, so it's evasive on your turn, not your opponent's turn. This is still really good for getting through Dumbo specifically, because it's evasive on your turn. Dumbo's only a 3/3. This can take it out for relatively cheap. You're paying 2 to get rid of a card that could potentially cause you a ton of problems. 2 Madam Mim. I love this card. I'm really happy that people are experimenting with it. It gives everything on your field Challenger 1. It also has Challenger 1 itself. So right off the bat, when you play this Jafar, if Mim's on the field, it's a 4/2 when it goes in. Happy is now a 3/3/1 if you play and Mim is on the field. Really good card. Mr. Smee, another pseudo evasive. Genie, another pseudo evasive. 4 copies of Cobra. Cobra is always just gonna be good. Rapid lore gain is always fun. Jafar, Aspiring Ruler, to give things evasive. Pete, Games Referee at 3. Actions are still a thing. Like, the actions are in every deck. So being able to stop your opponent from doing various things on their turn, against the Blurple deck, being able to stop them from Into the Unknowing a threat away, so you can get another turn off with it is just really good. White Rose, again, free lore gain. Dumbo, we already talked about Dumbo in the first video, the first deck. Dumbo is just really good. It's a good game ender. It's a good card just in general. Same thing with Genie Wish Fulfilled. Yzma, Conniving Chemist. I'm really, really excited that this card is getting used. It's a really good card. And again, like we keep talking about, in a core constructed format, there's not a ton of great card draw, but there is still some really nice hidden gems, and Yzma is one of these hidden gems. If you have fewer than 3 cards in your hand, draw cards until you have 3. It's a really good card. This is also really good when you combine it with Doc. If Yzma's on the field when you play Doc, you're discarding your hand, drawing 2 cards. You're just going to be able to at least get 1 card off of Yzma. 2 copies of Belle, again, still really good for getting through Nalas. Really good for just taking characters off the board that maybe you can't deal damage to for some reason. 4 copies of Elsa. 2 copies of Fire the Cannons. Deal 2 damage to chosen character for 1 is always good. 2 copies of Hypnotic Strength. 4 copies of Strength for Raging Fire. You are running 1, 4, 7, 9. 4, 7, 10. You're running 10 1-drops. You could easily pull this off for really good in the early game. Pretty easily. And like I said, all of your cards are pretty cheap. Your highest cost is 4. So you could easily, your highest cost is 5. So really good mana curve, really good. This is running 61 cards, which is really cool. We love 61 cards here. 49 inkables, 12 uninkables, 81% of the deck is inkable. That is just really. This is definitely, I would say, maybe you could like experiment with like the numbers a little bit, but I definitely feel like this is the way to play purple amethyst steel going forward. I'm probably only going to look at the top 4, and this one. Yeah, so look at these 6 because they're all different. So going into the Steel Emerald, I was actually looking at this before we started recording. This deck seems really, really interesting to me. It's definitely a good variant of the Amethyst Emerald, not Amethyst, sorry, Amber Emerald aggro. So we're running 4 copies of Bobby Zimmerowski, a Spray Cheese Kid. When you play this character, you get to draw a card, then you can discard a card. 4 Captain Hook, 4 Curse Merfolk, 2 Fred Mascot by Day, 4 Mulan Disguised Soldier. When you play another card draw. 3 Calhoun, 4 Doc, 4 Go-Go Tamago, Darting Dynamo. This card has evasive. When you play this character, you may pay 2 to gain lore equal to damage on chosen opposing character. So, like, depending on how this goes, this could be really good for you in the late game. 3 Ursula's Deceiver. Even if you don't catch a song with this, you're still getting to look at your opponent's hand, which is always giving you valuable information. 1 Clarabelle, Contented Wallflower. When you play this character, if an opponent has more cards in their hand than you, draw a card. On a 2/3, it's not terrible. 2 Jafar Aspiring Ruler. 4 Louise Endearing Alligator. We love this card. He enters play exerted because it's a 3-drop. That's really good. And then when you play this character, chosen opposing character gains Reckless. During the next turn, they can't quest a must attack if able. 4 Pete. 4 Prince Philip. These are really strong in the end game because they have Ward. In the end game, it's going to be a lot harder for your opponent to take them out. They're going to have to challenge into them, which is going to put damage on your opponent's side of the field that you can potentially do stuff with Go-Go. 4 Emerald Chromicon. During your opponent's turns, whenever one of your characters is banished, you may return chosen character to their player hand. You challenge into me, you get bounced. It's fantastic. 3 Fire the Cannons and 4 Strength of Raging Fire. The important thing here is to look at the cost. To build this deck on TCG Player, it's $77. It came 3rd place. It is... You could literally build 3 of these for less than the 1st place deck and the 2nd place deck. So that's really cool. I really like that. That's awesome. That you can, that a deck that is like this cheap can still be really powerful in this format is just fantastic. Now we are looking at this came 5th. So this is the 5th place deck. It is Amber Emerald aggro. Honestly, I thought this would be the deck that would take it, but it did not. But it's still a really strong deck. This is definitely based around these big early 1-drops doing stuff, going into some solid, oh, they're not running Pluto. Interesting. A lot of the builds for this going into this that I was looking at were running the Bodyguard Pluto, but this one was not, which is really interesting. This has a lot of uninkables though, so you have to really be careful with how you're mulliganing for this. We have 4 copies of Aurora Holding Court. When this character quests, you may pay 1 less for the next princess or queen you play. 4 copies of Daisy Duck. This card is just always good. It's never bad to have this card in hand. 4 copies of Mulan. This is also easy. You can easily play this for free after you've quested Aurora. 3 copies of Calhoun. 4 copies of Doc. 4 copies of Jim Deere. 2 copies of Jim Deere. Beloved Husband. This is just really good because you're, of course, playing Tiana. Your opponent has to pay extra to attack into this bodyguard. They have to pay ink. If they can't, then they're not getting through this bodyguard. We'll talk about Tiana in a second. 4 Nala. In a deck like this where you're just so aggressive, this is just a really good play. Also, being able to quest with this, play this, draw a card, play this on your turn 3 is really, really strong. 4 copies of Penny Bolt's Person. When you play this character, you may move up to 2 damage from chosen character, and they gain resist 1 till the start of turn. If this lives through an attack, this is just really good. You can pop this on this, heal it, give it more resist. You can pop this on Daisy, heal it, give it resist, making Daisy's a lot harder to get rid of. 3 copies of the Troubadour Musical Narrator, resist 1, Singer 4 on a 2-drop, 1/3, really good. Lady, a family dog. This card, if you're playing aggro, this card is super good. Being able to play a character of 2 costs or less for free when you play it is fantastic. 4 Pete's, again, actions are always going to be there. And also, Pete is just really good for running into things. 4 copies of Tiana Restaurant Owner. Whenever a character of yours is challenged while this character is exerted, the challenging character has to pay 3 ink per character, or they lose 3 attack. Really good. This enables your bodyguard to stay on the field for a considerable amount of time, especially in that early game when your opponent needs to be getting rid of it to keep you from questing for a disgusting amount of lore. And then Rhino Power Hamster, Shift 2, Quest for 2, 4, 3. While this character has no damage, he gains Resist 2. Again, this is just another way that you can heal off that damage, give it more resist. When Tiana's on the field, it's going to be very hard to take that off the board. 3 copies of Fire the Cannons, because 1 for 2 damage is always good. 4 Strength and 2 World's Greatest Criminal Mind. I love this card. It gets very powerful threats off the field. Probably here for red because there's no supporting option here. So this was probably here for like those red decks you'd see. Because honestly, against the top 4, I don't really think it had much use. Monstro, it could get rid of Monstro, but Monstro's more than likely probably going to get rid of itself. Yeah, so definitely probably just in here for the Monstro. And then looking at our last deck, we have Amber Emerald. This is what I'm playing for the most part. This is almost identical to what I'm playing during my set championships. So this one makes me really, really excited. 4 copies of Aurora for your 4 copies of Tiana. If you're running this you're almost always running this. I don't see a reason why you wouldn't. Bobby Zimmerowski, Spray Cheese Kid, 4 daisies, 4 ladies, 2 Merryweather. This is a 1-drop. I personally run Megara, but Merryweather is just as good. Being able to pay the 1 to give a +2 this turn is still really good. 2 Pluto. I actually really like this. Makes everything cheaper. You can tap this and play a 1 cost for 0. 4 Go-Go. 4 Jim Deere. 4 Lilo Escape Artist. This is just very threatening in the late game if you're constantly bringing it back out of your discard pile and your opponent can't do anything about it. 4 Tramps. 4 Ursula. 4 Tiana. 3 Ladies, and 4 of the 7-drop Tramp. For each character you have in play, you may pay 1 less to play this character. You play this character, you may draw a card for each other character you have in play, then choose and discard that many cards. 3 copies of Improvise. A chosen character gets +1 this turn, you draw a card. And 2 copies of Under the Sea. That rounds out the... is there anything else in here? Oh, let's talk about this deck that came in the top 16. This is Sapphire Emerald Control. This is obviously just all about keeping your opponent's hand down, doing things, drawing cards. Just a really good keeping your opponent keeping their options limited. So we have 3 copies of Bobby Zimmerowski. Draw a card and discard. 4 Clarabelle. When you play this character, you may pay 2 to banish chosen item. 4 Tipo. 4 the other Clarabelle, getting to draw a card. 4 Donald Duck, Perfect Gentleman. At the start of your turn, each player may draw a card. 4 Baymax with its universal shift. 2 Baymax. 3 John Silver, Alien Pirate. Whenever you play it or you quest, you give something reckless. This is just a really good card. 4 Basil, Undercover Detective. When you play this character, you may return a chosen character to the player's hand. When he quests, your opponent chooses and discards a card at random. 4 Clarabelle. At the end of your turn, if chosen opponent has more cards than you, you can draw cards you have the same number. So you're letting them draw extra cards with Donald, and then you're getting those extra cards with Clarabelle. 4 Hades. 2 Develop Your Brain. 4 Azurite Sea. 4 Visions of the Future. Develop Your Brain of Visions of the Future, essentially the same card. You can go look at more cards with Vision. 1 Bend to My Will. This is terrifying. You make your opponent discard all their cards. And at that point, once you've done that, you are just keeping them under control with cards like You're Welcome, cards like Hands Held High. This is really works in really well conjunction with Under the Sea, being able to bounce everything back to your opponent's hand, or stop chaos in his tracks, bounce stuff to the hand, and you're bending you to your will. Just a really good setup to be keeping your opponent's board and hand down. And then if you do that, they can't do anything, and then you win. That is the top 8 of the first DLC. Honestly, not a lot of surprises. This is our format, and that's not a bad thing. Like, this is a very, like, if you look at the top, we'll use the top 8. If you look at the top 8, the only thing that you see multiples of is the evasives and the aggro. Like, and then even like in the top 16, like, it's still pretty. This is probably a much more varied meta than I think people were expecting. For 1,864 players, that is just super good. Like, this is a very, very good. Here's the meta game breakdown. You had 28% blurple. Let's call it. Oh, here we go. 18 decks were steel amethyst. 12 decks were amber steel. 12 decks were amethyst steel. 10 decks. 8 decks were emerald sapphire. 7 decks amber emerald steel. 2 emerald amethyst, and 1 ruby amethyst. Sorry, 2. So the damage stuff was really cool. We saw evasives, items, Brainiac. The format seems really healthy right now, as long as you are willing to spend like money. But even still, this came 3rd place, and it barely cost anything. This is 212. Why is this one so much cheaper? They were running 1 less Tiana. That makes sense. But let me know what you guys think about the top 8 of Bologna. Let me know what you guys think about the first DLC. How is this making the rest of the format look for you? Does this affect what you are building for set championships? I'm very interested to see what people are going to do. I do not have Tianas, so I will not be playing them in my Amber Emerald build. I do have some other crazy things I'm going to be doing, which is really fun. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about the first DLC. How do you guys think this is going to shape the metagame going to set championships before we hit the next set, Whispers in the Well? Previews for those cards for that set should be starting next week. I'm going to try and record videos going over all the reveals we're getting as often as I can. But if it's anything like it was before, there's just going to be a time where there's just going to be a ton of them coming in, and I'm just not going to be able to keep up. But don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, ding the notification if you want to be alerted to whenever we post any Lorcana content, any Pokemon content. That seems to be the big thing where we are right now between Lorcana and Pokemon. I'm really excited for this upcoming set championships. Really excited for more Pokemon content. It's going to be awesome. Stay safe out there, my friends. And as always, have fun playing card games. And I will see you when I see you. Bye.